Hello, my lovely people. Welcome back to my channel, the No Regret TV. We are back again with another edition of Sunday's Q&A about relationship matters. But before we get into relationship matters, you should know that today is a new month, August, and we want to say welcome to August. And I want to use this opportunity to announce that August is my month of birth, 18 August actually. And I want to wish happy birthday to all the August born, especially to my friend Nana Larissa, who is celebrating her birthday today. So I want to wish you a special happy birthday and welcome to all the August born. We are the kings of the year. Argue with your calendar, not mine. So happy August and God's richest blessing to you all. It's another edition of Q&A. Stay tuned. So my people, on today's edition of Q&A, we shall be looking at two questions. We shall be discussing two questions. The first one will be, how do I sustain a long distance relationship? And the second question will be, why do people find it difficult to leave an abusive relationship or an abusive marriage? So those are the two things we'll be talking about today, and I'll give my utmost best advice. And long distance relationship, like every other relationship, has its challenges. Whether you are staying with your partner or your partner is staying in another house but you're in the same town, and or your partner is abroad, and it's difficult. Most of the times people tell themselves, I can't get into a long distance relationship. But my dear, you never know. You might get married today and it happens that you get to travel, or your partner get to travel and stay away for a while. There's a lot of difficulties in handling this situation, and at times some people who find themselves in this kind of situation will tend to want to quit, or rather just give up on the relationship at all, and don't want to. It entails a lot, It entails a lot. The difficulties you go through when your partner is not around. Sometimes you want to feel the comfort of your partner. Sometimes you want to have that special moment with your partner, but he or she is not around for those special moments. It's quite difficult to cope with such a relationship. But again, quite difficult, not impossible. There are ways in which you can manage just a long distance relationship and make it work perfectly, like you guys were staying in the same house. So you should not find yourself trying to give up because you find yourself in a long distance relationship, whereas you can make it work. I'm here to give you some tips on how to make a long distance relationship work, and for me, I call them the 5 key components that if you incorporate in your relationship, I believe you will be able to make it work. So start with the first tip, which is communication. Communication is very important in every relationship, be it a long distance relationship or a relationship where you find yourself living together, especially in marriages. Communication is very important. Please mind you, this word, the term relationship, I'm also referring to marriages as well. It should not only be limited to boy and girls dating, all the stuff. So please permit me, when I use the word relationship, I'm also referring to married people. So that aside, communication brings couples together, brings partners together. A relationship that lacks communication is bound to fail. Why I say so is because you don't know what is happening with your partner. You don't know what they are going through. You don't know what's boiling within them, the anger they carry, the joy, and the moments in their life. If you guys don't communicate, you will never know what's going on with your partner. You will never find a way to sort out situations in your relationship. So communication is a very important and important ingredient in every relationship. Now you find yourself in a long distance relationship. Thank God for technology. There is mobile phone, we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, we have lots and lots of apps that has come to ease communication, unlike the days unlike before, where you had just to post a letter, or this back in those days where before you could make a single call, you have to maybe go to a post office or to a call center, and it costs you a lot of money to do that. People still manage to communicate back then. What about now that we have all the means to communicate with our loved ones outside? Spend time. Yes, we can be working, but you need to create time for your partner. That attention you are supposed to be giving when you are together, you have to create time for that attention over the phone, so that you can talk always. Always tell this person, babes, this is what is happening now. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm heading home from work, I'm going to work, I just had lunch. All those gist, it makes your partner feels that she's close to you, or he is close to you, with this daily little tips you give him about your activities. Somehow, the more you do that, the more you build that trust in the person. The confidence is there. But what you find yourself not giving your partner attention, she doesn't know what's going on in your life. He or she doesn't know your program or your daily routine, when to call you, when to send you it, all those things. If that communication is not there, if you've not told your partner that this is how my daily activities, if you have not told your partner that this is how I run my daily activities, it will be difficult for you guys to find time for each other, and which brings the communication very down. Now, it's easy for your partners to start looking for someone to talk to, and the tendency is the opposite sex. The opposite sex. They start confiding in the opposite sex. What they're supposed to tell you as their partner, they start telling other people, friends, and somebody they just meet, and they start confiding in them. This will bring problems between you two. This will start bringing that gap, that distance between you two. If you don't talk, my dear, it's a problem. So always create time to talk to your partner. Spend even an hour or two before you go to bed, just in talking about how you spend your day, and the activities you did during that day is very important and very vital. Now, the second point about this, sustaining a long distance relationship is trust. Trust is very important and very essential in a long distance relationship. If you don't trust your partner, you always suspect them of doing something wrong. If you don't trust your partner of being faithful, you always ask questions that are not relevant. And when people start getting this kind of questions, it makes them to start thinking if this person really trusts me or not. And when people feel that they are not being trusted in their relationship, it kills that relationship. It makes the bond, it breaks the bond between you two. So trust is very important. Just like you trust somebody that is around you, you should also be able to give that same level of trust to that person you love who is far from you. If you don't trust this person, my dear, it will be difficult for you guys, because at every instant that you see the person online and the person is not chatting with you, what comes to your mind is he's probably talking to other ladies, she's probably talking to other guys. You don't know what she might be doing online, and just because that trust is not there, you start assuming things, you start accusing the person for no good reason. So you should be able to have a very high level of trust for your partner. The next point is patience. Patience is very important in a relationship, be it a long distance relationship or, how would I call it, short distance relationship. Let me just use that word, short distance relationship. Patience. Your partner might go for 5 years, 2 years, 1 month, 3 months, 5 months. You should be able to be patient. If your partner is going for a year, it's a long time in a relationship to be separated from somebody for a year, not to talk of 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. Yeah, it's easy for married couples that, okay, my partner might be gone for a period of time, and maybe in the country where he or she goes, it's easy for them to bring the other person over. But what if the person is going for a job where he has to stay there for 2 years or more, where he has to stay there for 2 years or more? Maybe the company sent the person for a training and there's no way he or she can bring you along. You need to build a high level of patience to wait for that person. Because if you don't have that patience, you find yourself now start gallivanting around, doing things you're not supposed to do just because you're not patient enough to wait for your partner. So I believe that to make your long distance relationship work, you must have a high level of patience. The fourth point is tolerance. Tolerance is as important as patience. In every relationship, there is a fight. In every relationship, there is a quarrel. In every relationship, there is misunderstanding, be it long distance or not. You encounter these problems. You encounter these obstacles in every relationship. You should be able to tolerate your partner in his or her excesses. Tolerance comes in when you, like most women, they nag. Yes, most women nag. You as the guy, you should be able to tolerate her nagging. Sometimes most men, they ignore, and as a woman, women don't love to be ignored. But again, you have to tolerate that habit from your man. I'm not saying that you should exaggerate a bad habit because you want your partner to always tolerate. No, I'm just saying that if your partner knows that you have this bad habit, your partner should be able to tolerate this habit so as to be able to make things work between you. You're able to sometimes ignore, even just like, okay, she started, let me just ignore her, she'll come back to her senses and everything will be fine. So you have to have this high level of tolerance, because there'll always be fight, there'll always be that disagreement, there'll always be that argument. And once as you can tolerate your partner in all those things, then you can keep your relationship going. The fifth point and last point for today is understanding. Understanding. If you don't understand each other, you can't make it work. Truth be told, it's not every person you meet and date that you'll be able to understand. But before you're getting married to somebody, you should be able to understand this person. You should be able to have this high level of understanding between you two. Because if you don't understand each other, you always find yourself disagreeing and fighting. Your partner and you should be able to understand each other when it comes to some basic discussions about how to move your relationship forward. I'm not saying that you should not be able to disagree, because you disagree to agree. But again, if you don't have that understanding that you have to disagree to agree, you disagree to fight. Sometimes you might want to explain a situation to your partner and the partner doesn't want to understand at all. It ends up in a fight. But if you two have this high level of understanding that, okay, let me try to reason out what this person is saying and make sense from what he is saying, rather than pick a fault from what he or she is saying, then I believe that it's another way of building that understanding between you two. So you should be able to have this high level of understanding between you two. So I'll recap. You have communication, trust, patience, tolerance, and understanding to make your long distance relationship work. Our second question for today is, why do people find it difficult to quit an abusive relationship? It's not that easy as we think, but it's difficult to quit a relationship where there's a lot of troubles, because there are some factors holding us back there. Now, before we get into those reasons why people stay in abusive relationship or find it difficult to quit abusive relationship, let's just take time to point out what an abusive relationship is. An abusive relationship is this kind of relationship where you go through physical, emotional, and psychological torture. So it must not only be a physical torture or physical abuse before it becomes an abusive relationship. It also entails emotional abuse or emotional torture and psychological torture. And you should understand this. Not only women go through these abuses, men also go through abuses in their relationship. But now the common one we know is a physical abuse, because we can see it. But now you can't see the psychological and emotional abuse men especially go through. Yes, women too also go through emotional and psychological abuses, but more is common. The common abuse that women go through is physical abuse. Now, let me take time to explain why people find it difficult to get out or quit a relationship that is abusive. The first factor is what people will say. What people will say. People have always known us to be this loving couple. People have always admired our relationship. People have always looked up to us to mentor their own relationship, and now we want to all of a sudden end this relationship, end this marriage. Those questions come into place because of what people will say. The society will judge us. We don't want the society to judge us. So I'll better stay in this relationship and die than let people talk about me that I left my relationship, I could not sustain my relationship. That pressure of what people will say has made a lot of people die in a relationship that was not meant for them, that was not favorable to them. The truth is, people will always talk. So long as you're living, people will always talk, be it positive or negative. People will always talk. No matter what you do, So long as you don't do it in the hiding, so long as people see it, they'll always talk. Whether you do something good, whether you do something bad, people will always talk. So it's for you to determine how you want to live your life and how happy you want to be in your life. And let them talk about whatever they want to talk about. Your happiness matters. If you're not happy, you cannot make the next person by you happy. So if you live in a relationship where it's not going because of the fear of what people say, my dear, you will die of a lot of torture. Always know where to draw the line. When it's becoming too much, you should always know where to draw the line. When you see that it's not going to stop anytime soon, you should call it a shot. So don't allow what people say make you lose your life in a relationship where you're not supposed to lose your life. A relationship is meant for happy moments. You guys enjoy yourself, find happiness in each other. It's not meant for brutality and psychological torture. So avoid what people say and live a happy life. The next point is family reputation. Some families would rather die, especially fathers, they would rather die than see their daughter or son get a divorce. For them, you must stay in that marriage just because they want to keep their reputation. That's why you see a lot of couples go through a lot of psychological, physical, and emotional torture, but they still stay together because their family they are protecting their family name. My dear, when you die, that name will continue. Your life has ended. Your father or your family, they have their own life to live, and you have your own life to live. And you mostly see this kind of abuse in relationships or in marriages where it was arranged between two families because they want to build a long-lasting relationship, friendship. So they want to seal it with the marriage of their children. It barely works. This kind of relationships barely work. So you start having queries because those two people don't understand themselves. They are not compatible for each other. They start abusing each other. Now they cannot get out because both families are in support of the marriage and they want to protect their name that in our family there's nothing like a divorce. I'm not supporting divorce. I'm not saying that we should all divorce, but what I'm saying is if it's not working for you, leave. Your life is more precious than any marriage. Your life is more precious than any relationship. Don't say because of my children, because of my family. Yes, because of your children. What if you die in that relationship? What becomes of your children? You can still take care of your children from a distance. Don't live your life in regret, because now what happens is if one person kills another person in that relationship, you the killer will go to prison while the person who has been killed will go forever. What becomes of those children now? The father or the mother is in prison and the other parent is dead. What becomes of that children? So it is better you stay apart and take care of those children and keep that family name than let your life be cut short because you want to protect a so-called family names. So at times people stay in this kind of relationship because they are protecting their family names. Now the next point is stigmatization. Divorced couples, they have been stigmatized by the word he's a divorcee, she's a divorcee, by the society. The society has made divorce a terrible sin that most people are afraid to get that stigma of being divorced. So they'll rather stay there and suffer and go through pains, go through torture, rather than quit that relationship because they don't want the society to be looking at them as a divorcee, or not. So this stigmatization has made so many people to stay in abusive relationships and unable to get out because they don't want to be stigmatized and be called names by the society. No, it should not be like that. Because you're a divorcee doesn't mean you cannot have another beautiful relationship. Because you're a divorcee, it doesn't mean your life has ended. No, you started a new page in your life. So stop being afraid of stigma and get out of there. Then another reason why people stay in an abusive relationship is because they haven't gotten that approval from close friends and families. Now, here's how it works. A person might be going through a lot of problems, a lot of pains, a lot of abuse in their relationship, but now they come to a friend. They table that advice to a friend or a family member, and they table that problem, to a friend or a family member for advice. You always try to advise them to endure, to try to make things work and all whatnot. So they will go back because that friend or that family member has not told them to leave that relationship. They are bent to make that relationship work, even when they know it will not work. Now, the moment they get this approval from this close friend or family member that this thing is not working, you have to leave, that's when they summon the courage to leave that environment. So because that family or friend has not approved for them to leave that environment, they will want to stay in there and try to make it work by all costs. So approval from close friends and family members is another reason why people stay in abusive relationships. The fifth point and the final point is the fear to start all over. It's difficult to start all over. That's the truth. Go through the process of meeting a girl or a boy, start discussing, getting to know each other, and want to give other a chance to start a relationship. It's difficult. It's a difficult process because now you have to start trusting somebody else. You have to start dedicating your time, arranging, try to fix your time according to that person's own time and all those little details. It's difficult to go through that process again because you want to have those lovely late night calls, what you won't had before. So just to bond with this new person, that process is not easy. So the fear to start all over has made some people to, okay, let me just stay here and see how I can make this one work. The moment you gather that courage and you say to yourself, yes, I'll be able to start all over, then you'll be able to quit this kind of relationship that doesn't work for you, that only inflicts you a lot of pain and heartbreak. So the fear to start all over is another cause or another reason why people stay in abusive relationships. So I'm saying to you, if you find yourself in such a situation, try to evaluate these 5 points, then you make a decision for yourself. If you are able to continue with that relationship, then you should try to make it work. But if not, get out before we hear RIP. Get out before they start singing "We Are Looking For You." So my dear friends, if it's not working for you, stop it and forget about all what people say. So I'll just recap the 5 points I just spoke about. The fear of what people say, family reputation, stigmatization, approval from close friends and family, and the fear to start all over. So those are the key 5 points I believe that keeps people in abusive relationships. So my dear friends, we have come to the end of this Sunday's Q&A. And I want to take this time out to also wish you a happy Sunday. Please always share this video, always like, always comment, always turn on the bell notification sign. Whenever I load a new video, you'll be able to get a notification. Please help me share my video. I'm begging you. If you're always coming here, help me share them to your WhatsApp group, help me share them to your Facebook group under your Facebook pages, so that I can get more and more people to follow this page and make this community grow and have sense. Because I'm here to educate people on how to go about their relationships. So I believe if we share, it will help a lot of people out there. Please take out time to share my videos. I love you all. One love. Till we meet again in our next video. Ciao.